More than 12,000 people died in London in just 5 days. There was no declaration of war, no invading army, no spreading virus. The city was not bombed, it was not attacked, it simply suffocated. December 1952. London woke beneath a thick, yellow fog. At first, nobody panicked. Fog was part of London's identity. For centuries, it had rolled in from the Thames, wrapping the city in mystery. Writers romanticized it, artists painted it, locals joked about it. They even had a nickname for it, pea soup. But this fog was different. It did not roll through the streets and disappear by noon. It did not shift with the wind. It settled, heavy, still, oppressive. By mid-morning, visibility had dropped so low that people could barely see across the road. Street lamps glowed faintly, swallowed by yellow haze. Buildings faded into silhouettes. Entire blocks seemed to vanish. A bus driver later described it as driving blindfolded. Pedestrians walked with hands stretched forward, feeling walls to guide themselves. Children going to school held on to each other so they would not get separated. Yet life continued, because London had seen fog before. But then something changed. The air began to sting. Eyes watered uncontrollably, throats burned with every breath. There was a sharp, metallic taste hanging in the atmosphere. People coughed constantly. Inside homes, the fog crept through window cracks and under doors. Curtains absorbed soot. White walls turned gray. Clothes smelled of coal smoke even before being worn. To understand why this happened, you have to imagine Britain in 1952. The war had ended only 7 years earlier. The country was still rebuilding. Industry was booming again. Factories worked night and day. And everything ran on coal. Coal heated homes. Coal powered trains. Coal fueled factories and power stations. Every winter, millions of fireplaces burned across the city. Smoke rising into the sky was normal, expected, even comforting. It meant warmth. It meant survival. But in early December, a severe cold wave struck the country. Temperatures plummeted. Families burned more coal than ever to stay warm. Because of shortages, much of the coal available was low quality. It produced thicker smoke, higher levels of sulfur, more toxic emissions. At the same time, a high-pressure weather system settled over London. Cold air became trapped close to the ground beneath a layer of warmer air above it. This created what scientists call a temperature inversion. Normally, warm air rises and carries pollution away, but now the pollution was sealed in. Every chimney added more smoke. Every factory added more chemicals. The city was slowly filling with poison. By the second day, transport began collapsing. Buses stopped running. Flights were canceled. River traffic on the Thames came to a standstill. Ambulances struggled to respond to emergencies. In some areas, visibility dropped to less than a meter. People could not see their own feet. Imagine stepping outside your home and finding the world erased. No skyline, no familiar landmarks, just thick, choking darkness. Inside hospitals, something alarming was happening. Admissions were rising rapidly. Patients arrived gasping for breath, coughing violently, some unable to speak. Doctors initially suspected a harsh flu season. Winter bronchitis was common, but the numbers kept rising. The elderly were especially vulnerable. So were infants. Those with asthma deteriorated within hours. Oxygen supplies began running low. Nurses worked non-stop.
Doctors walked miles through the smog because vehicles could not navigate the streets. Funeral directors started noticing something chilling. Deaths were increasing far beyond normal winter levels. Coffins began running out. Families waited days to bury loved ones. Still, official statements reassured the public. It was described as unusual fog, nothing more. But this was not fog alone. It was sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, carbon particles small enough to travel deep into human lungs. Each breath inflamed airways, reduced oxygen levels, triggered infections. People were not dying dramatically. They were suffocating, quietly, slowly, in their homes, in hospital beds, on park benches. By December 8th, mortality rates had doubled, then tripled. Livestock at Smithfield Market collapsed where they stood. Prize cattle suffocated in their pens. Even healthy adults began experiencing dizziness and chest pain. Parents watched children struggle to breathe. Imagine sitting beside your child's bed, listening to every shallow breath, knowing there was nothing you could do. The city felt trapped. There were no emergency broadcasts, no clear instructions to stay indoors, no masks, no warnings, just silence beneath a poisonous sky. And then, on December 9th, the wind finally changed. The smog began to lift, slowly, carefully. Blue sky reappeared. Sunlight broke through the haze. London emerged from the darkness. But what remained was shock. The official death toll was first announced as around 4,000, but later research revealed the true number may have exceeded 12,000. Over 100,000 people suffered severe health effects. Many would never fully recover. The tragedy forced Britain to confront an uncomfortable truth. For decades, smoke symbolized industrial power, but now smoke symbolized death. Public anger grew. Newspapers demanded accountability. In 1956, Parliament passed the Clean Air Act. Coal burning in urban areas was restricted. Smokeless zones were introduced. Cleaner fuels were promoted. It marked the beginning of modern environmental reform in Britain. The Great Smog became a global warning. It showed that invisible threats can be the most dangerous, that progress without responsibility carries consequences. Today, London's air is far cleaner, but the memory of those 5 days remains, because sometimes disasters do not arrive with explosions. Sometimes they drift in quietly. They settle over rooftops. They enter lungs. They take lives silently. For 5 days in 1952, a modern capital city vanished beneath a cloud of its own making. No bombs, no invasion, no visible enemy, only air that could no longer be trusted. If this story changed the way you see the world, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who values real history. And if you want more powerful, immersive stories from Britain's past, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because history is not always loud. Sometimes it suffocates.